Mike, his wife Sue, and their 8-year-old twins, Emma and Charlie, thought they had finally found peace. After years of city noise, sleepless nights, and endless traffic, they packed their belongings and moved to a small town where life seemed simpler. Their new home stood at the edge of a quiet street, with a wide front porch and woods just behind the property. During the move, they met Michigan, a wiry old man who lived 2 houses down. He looked frail, his skin stretched thin over sharp bones, but he moved with surprising agility. He knew the town's history, every street, every rumor, and he was quick to lend a hand. Mike often sat with him in the evenings, sipping beers on the porch, listening to Michigan's endless stories. The twins adored him, calling him Grandpa Michigan. It seemed like the perfect start to a new life. Summer faded into autumn. Emma and Charlie began school, thrilled by their new classmates and teachers. Mike kept busy with work, Sue at the house. Yet, despite the calm routine, Sue couldn't shake a faint unease. It was nothing she could name, just a whisper of dread that lingered in her chest. Then came the morning that shattered everything. It was just 3 days before Christmas. The air was sharp with frost as the twins bundled up, kissed their mother goodbye, and skipped off toward school. The walk took only 5 minutes. Sue watched them until they disappeared around the corner. Mike drove off to work. The house fell silent. Sue spent the morning wrapping hidden presents, tucking them away in closets. Time slipped past unnoticed until she sat down with a cup of coffee. She glanced at her watch and froze. Emma and Charlie were hours late. Her pulse quickened as she hurried to the school. But when she asked about her children, the principal frowned. "Mrs. Whitmore, your twins never arrived today." Her stomach dropped. The ground seemed to tilt beneath her feet. Within an hour, Sheriff Matthew Rowans stood in her living room, taking notes with a grim face. He asked their ages, what they had been wearing, what time they left. When Sue, her voice trembling, mentioned that Emma and Charlie were twins, the sheriff stopped writing. His hand hovered over the notepad, his eyes hardening. "Twins?" he repeated. Sue nodded, confused. The sheriff's expression darkened. Finally, he spoke in a low voice. "Every year, for the past 50 years, a pair of twins has gone missing in this town. Always around the same age as yours. None of them have ever been found." The word struck like a blade. The search that night was frantic. Deputies canvassed the area. Neighbors joined with flashlights, voices echoing through the woods. Michigan appeared too, pale and shaken, insisting he wanted to help. He patted Mike's shoulder, murmuring that the children would surely turn up. His concern seemed genuine, almost grandfatherly. Mike had never once stepped inside Michigan's home. Their friendship lived on the porch, where the old man would sit with his crooked posture and faraway eyes, sipping cheap beer while sharing bits of small-town wisdom. That evening was no different. The December air was bitter, their breaths white in the glow of the porch light. They clinked bottles, exchanged a few quiet words, and when the beer was gone, Michigan excused himself, retreating inside. Mike rose, pulling his coat tighter, and started down the steps. He patted his pockets and froze. His keys were gone. With a groan, he crouched near the bushes that bordered the porch, pushing the branches aside to search. His fingers brushed cold metal, and something else. He pulled it free. It was a small keychain, the kind you'd give to a child. Pink plastic, shaped like a butterfly. And engraved into the charm was a name. Melissa. Mike's chest tightened. He knew the name. Everyone in town knew the name. Melissa Wander, the girl who had vanished with her twin sister, Crystal, 40 years ago. Neither of them had ever been found. His stomach lurched. He shoved the keychain into his pocket, left without another word, and drove straight to the sheriff's office. Sheriff Rowans listened in silence as Mike placed the charm on his desk. His face drained of color. He opened an old case file, pulling a faded photograph from within. In it, 2 young girls smiled at the camera, each wearing identical butterfly keychains. Melissa and Crystal Wander, 1983. Rowans leaned back, his jaw tight. This was hers. No doubt about it. Mike stared at him. "I found it in Michigan's bushes." "Sheriff, my kids trusted him. We trusted him." For a long moment, the sheriff said nothing. Michigan had been a fixture of the town for decades. The harmless old man everyone greeted on their morning walks. The idea that he could hurt a child seemed unthinkable. And yet, the keychain was real. The proof was undeniable. Sue's anger burned hotter than grief. He's been in our house, around our children. Don't you see? That's how he does it. He makes them love him. The sheriff exhaled slowly, then stood. Get my men, and bring the dogs. That night, the search began, this time focused entirely on Michigan's property. Deputies scoured the yard, their flashlights cutting through the trees. At the edge of the woods, the dogs caught a scent. They barked, pawing frantically at the soil. Officers dug, and beneath the frost, they uncovered disturbed earth, old bones rising to the surface. But that was only the beginning. Behind Michigan's shed, half hidden beneath tangled roots and brush, they found a heavy wooden door leading down into the ground. The hinges screamed as it opened. The beam of flashlight pierced the darkness, revealing a nightmare. Tables, rusted and stained. Surgical tools corroded with age. Jars and notebooks filled with diagrams, each one cataloging pairs of twins. Measurements, sketches, crude experiments. And outside, shallow graves told the rest of the story. Dozens of small bodies, their lives cut short. Among them, two that were fresher, lying side by side. Emma and Charlie. Sue screamed as she recognized their shoes. Mike dropped to his knees, silent, his fists digging into the frozen earth. When Michigan was finally led away in handcuffs, his frail body trembling, he showed no remorse. His voice was calm, almost proud. Twins are connected. They're different. I needed to understand. I had to. Then, with a thin smile, he whispered words that froze the sheriff's blood. There's another pair in town now. A woman just gave birth. I would have had time. For 50 years, Michigan had been the town's neighbor, the kindly old man with the quiet smile. For 50 years, he had also been its monster.